We're going to take a few minutes. A professional comedian who comes down and works with us every week at Stanford University, one of my co-professors, is going to come up for a few minutes. Have a good time with George Rini. George Rini! Come on, come on!
Peter bells, everybody. Let's hear for all the young comedians tonight. You know, I read an article the other day about young kids and how they know about sex earlier and earlier these days. So my 8-year-old niece comes up to me last week and she says, Uncle George, she goes, I learned how babies are conceived. Well, I said, all right, why don't you tell me? She says, well, first a man inserts his penis in a woman's vagina and ejaculates sperm. The sperm fertilizes the egg turns into a fetus, and 9 months later the baby's born either vaginally or cesarean. I turned to my wife, I said, is this right? What? Young kids today, they have no respect. There's no respect at all. My 17-year-old's in the basement, he's playing with his friends, and I hear one of them yell out, what the fuck? I lost my mind. I ran downstairs, opened the door, and I said, what the fuck? You can't curse like that in my house. Besides, who gave you permission to use my phone? That's a drug device. He knows. But he got nailed, though. A couple of weeks ago, my wife found lesbian channel charges on the cable bill. So I called him over and I said, come here. Put my arm around him and I said, I owe you one. Women today, couples having way too many kids. My sister, she lives in Chicago, she just had her 10th child. All right, little women go, ooh. I mean, her uterus must be like that blow-up doll you see in front of car washes. You know, when they and she has the dumbest parties. She has like first pull parties, first word parties. I said, you know what kind of parties you should have had? You should have had pull-out parties. Today was funny. I was getting ready, this morning with the wife. We were in the bathroom, and I'm pumping the soap out of the dispenser, and it shot across and hit her in the leg. I said, hey, honey, what does that remind you of? She goes, the past. I'm having a little anniversary this month. It's my 12th year in comedy. Thank you very much. And I wasn't always a stand-up comedian. Prior to that, 25 years, I was a home improvement contractor. So, and I've done a lot of work in this area, so if anybody recognizes me, I'm sorry. I didn't know the gas was off. But, you know, the reason I got out of that business, people say the dumbest things. And, I had one time I was building an extension, and the woman comes out, the customer comes out, she says, am I going to need a permit for this extension? I said, lady, don't worry about the permit, that's only for licensed contractors. Crazy. People say dumb things. I finished the kitchen one time, the guy comes up to me and he goes, when my wife sees those brown moldings, she's going to have an orgasm. I said, really? You should have seen her this morning when I was laying pipe. Universal sign. You can do this anywhere on the planet, and you'll know this. You can be in Kuwait or Libya or Egypt and go like, oh yes, I did that with my camera. Use a towel to clean up. What the fuck was I saying? Okay, yeah. One time in the business is crazy. I was doing a blacktop driveway, and the customer comes out of the house. She says, what are all these lumps in the driveway? I said, lady, you pay me to do a blacktop driveway, not move bikes. One time I was doing an estimate. Used to hate estimates. People for the first time hate customers. Anyway, I'm in Copac. The woman comes out of the house. She goes, what do you think you can do to the front of my house to make it native to Copac? got a great idea. Right out in front of the house, we'll put an abandoned car. How far back do you want to go? How about a teepee? Wigwam. Finding help in the business. The worst. I mean, I'm an equal opportunity employer. One time I hired a gate crew to build me 2 houses. When they were done, I was so pissed they only had back doors. I didn't get it at first. That's all right. Equal time, I hired a lesbian crew to do some work for me. They didn't do such great work, but they let me watch. One time I actually hired a Jewish crew to do some work for me. I went back the next day to check up on their progress. They hired a Mexican crew. Hobbies. That's what kept me sane through the whole thing. I do a lot of coaching, football, basketball, baseball, and all that. I guess it's kind of crazy when the kids ask you what positions to play. I hate that. One kid comes up to me last spring and he goes, Coach, can I pitch? I said, look, ach not. I'd love to have you pitch, but in case you didn't notice, this is basketball. Little League was my favorite, though. Baseball was my favorite. One time, I don't generally pick the kids with the most talent. I feel that's unfair. I pick the kids with the hottest moms. It's a long season. But, that doesn't always work. I had this woman crawl up to me one time. She goes, how come my son Anthony doesn't get much more playing time? I said, you want to know why? Look over here at the parents' bench. Hot, not. Get too old for physical comedy. I just turned 56. Thank you very much. And when you're in your 50s, people start treating you differently. Am I right? You say, oh, don't you look good. Don't worry, 50's the new 30. I hear that a lot. And I like that formula. So a couple of weeks ago, I was in bed with the wife, and I go, hey, honey, 6 inches is the new 8 inches. But I went to the doctor, and I had a prescription filled out for Viagra. Right? Am I right? I'm telling you. Is this your wife? I should be asking her. Oh, no. Where's your wife? Oh, yeah, that's right. She's with the baby. That's a bullshit story. I'm a fool comedian. Yes, you can. I got this prescription. I couldn't wait to get it home. I took the tablet out. I put it on the table. I'm looking at it. I crushed it up. And for old time's sake, I snorted it. I wasn't even thinking of sex. And there it is. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And it gets very heavy because all the blood goes down. Am I right? It was like 8 pounds. I'm like looking around this thing. The pets are running for the hills. Knocking furniture over. I finished my extension with it. I was so excited about this process. I did something I hadn't done in a long time. I smoked a joint. Now, pay attention. This is a public service. Don't ever smoke pot under the influence of Viagra. It looks so good, I almost ate it. Enjoy your meal. My wife comes home about 10 minutes later. She goes, oh, honey, that's such a hard penis. Oh. Are those teeth marks? My name is George Rini, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. George Rini, come on, give it a hand.
Terrific comedian.
Oh my God.
If you're looking for a contractor, go elsewhere.